Look at these cool, they're these like autumnal abstracts. I have been doing them. If you've been watching my work, anyway, I've been doing a lot of them in a lot of variations. And I thought the crazy thing is this is essentially just a really elaborate, well, it's not even really elaborate. Anyway, it's a craft that I learned to do in Girl Scouts, and then I've sort of evolved it into much larger. Actually, I'll show you. I'm in the gallery today. Hold on. So here, can you see? There's leaf prints in the underpainting. And then again, I have some in here. I have some in here. Anyway, my point is, I'm going to show you a much smaller DIY, but I think you can. So what do you need to do this? You need a foam applicator with a straight edge, some business cards. Gift cards would actually be ideal, but I don't have any on hand, so I'm just using business cards, but I've got multiple of them. And a palette with multiple blobs of autumnal-ish colors, although I don't know why you have to do autumn. You could do whatever color you want. I'm using, honestly, this is just really inexpensive craft paint, but if you have the good stuff, if I'm selling the work, I usually use the good stuff, but for demonstration or for whatever, you know, don't stress it. Use what you have. So long as you have some yellow and some red and some sort of neutral, just mix up a bunch. This is optional. I always like having one really good long handle. Long handle's critical. Just a simple brush. But again, if you don't have that, don't worry. Use a toothpick. And then this is the thing you may or may not have on hand. You need some work on either watercolor paper or mixed media paper. And these are from my scrap pile, okay? I like things where I never like working on a plain white piece of paper. That just does not do it for me. So here I've got like a hot pink with lots of sprinkles on it. Here I've got a red with some brown. Here's a solid beige. This is work that never made it across the finish line, and then I dabbled on some kind of orangey ochre kind of things. This isn't necessarily what I would call a chaos layer. If you've taken some of my online classes, you know the chaos layer. This is just a colored background of some sort of autumnal nature, and do it on something sturdy. Again, this is watercolor paper. You could also do it on a wooden canvas or a board panel of any kind, but you'll find that when you do it on an actual canvas, there's too much bounce, and that's hard to do. I've kind of rigged it, but at least the first few times you start with this, I would suggest doing it on good old-fashioned paper. And you get really cool results. So anyway, let me show you. Oh, the other thing you need, leaves. Woo! So do you see, this is a beautiful oak leaf, and it has a great silhouette, but has very little veins. Look at these. Woo! These, I don't even know what this is. Woo! They have fantastic, look at those ridges. It's just really great veining. So I'm going to grab a bunch of these and a bunch of others. You'll see. It's a whole bunch of ginkgo leaves on my block, and they have great shape, but almost no veining. So that's unfortunate. I got those oaks. The maples are kind of in between, but what you really want are like this. Woo! You see this? This is ideal. This is both veining, and then it's got like a jagged edge. So it's interesting shape. And so let me start you with a real basic demo. So I'm loading my foam brush, which is not ideal, and I'm just going to gently drag it across the surface. This is real difficult to do one-handed. I set up this. This is how much I love y'all. I don't have a tripod here, so I'm going to set it up. I rigged up my ladder on top of a table. It's not an ideal tripod, but it's going to work. Hold on. Okay, so this, see, real easy. You do this on the veiny side up. The front side of the leaf is on the bottom. Veiny side up. Gentle, gentle. Okay, now take your leaf, flip it paint side down, and with your business card, kind of hard. I mean, you do a little bit of pressing. You're gonna find how to finesse this just right. But go one clear swoop, boop. Look. See, there's still a decent amount of paint on here, so we're gonna do a little bit of a ghost print. Come back maybe nearby. And again, just do another one. Boop. And just keep on going. Okay, this is the same leaf, but I want to kind of dapple the color a little bit. So I'm going to put some yellow on top. And it's also, you're still going to see some of that cream coming through. And then watch. Okay, and then look. And it's kind of, whoop, it's hard to see. But if you just keep on going, create this sort of interesting undulating color of lots of skeletons of leaves. It's, sorry folks, slight diversion. I had a bunch of people in the store, which is good. But in that hour or so, I made a little progress, but I will tell you, this is what happens. The leaves get wilty, and the more delicate they are, the more prone they are to tearing. This particular variety seems a lot more sturdy, but I'm going to show you like these. I mean, they're kind of falling apart, but that's okay. I've been building, here's another one. I'm going to keep on going, but I'm going to show you the next step. Okay, so as you can see, I just built up. It's just one layer over another. There's 2, 3 different colors, and that's really all there is to it. I mean, you can look close up. Closer you look, that lots of subtle shifts in color. So we're talking variety of color, variety of shapes, variety of opacity, all layered together, and it just feels so fall-tastic. However, if you did nothing else but this, I think that would be great. You could frame this up, and it would be fabulous. But, you know me, I like to gild the lily. I like to add a little. So let's start with composition. Let's do a weighted composition, which just means adding negative space at some point. So I'm literally going to trim out the top. So see, I've got this. I'm not even switching to my brush. I'm still using the cheapy foam brush. All I'm going to do is see up top. I'm literally going to just sort of trace in here and carve out around those top leaves. And so it gets a little more complicated in some spots than others. And you might want to I mean, I could go up top, but why not? Hi there, welcome. Okay, and then I love carving in. I'll just take my palette knife, and while the paint is still wet and fairly thick, you know, I'm doing this one-handed, but I mean, you could do, you know, I don't really like that. Okay, but do you see what that has done by adding a dynamic edge within the rectangular box sort of situation? It just changes everything. I don't know why. I mean, there's absolutely, if you just want to do this, but what I might do is I've just got a little bit of brown on here. I might kind of stamp it. This isn't very successful. This is why I need the business card. But what I want to do is add a little bit of brown energy at the bottom, darker, and it feels heavier in it. Okay, so this is, again, phase 1 is just an abstract of shapes. I love it. That would be great. Here we've got phase 2. We've got a little bit of composition. And now let's do a phase 3. Let me show you where this could go with a little more. We're going to add a shimmer. And by shimmer, I don't mean metallics or sequins or glitter, although those are wonderful too. I'm talking about these little bits of light. Do you see them? All right. What those do and why this will elevate by adding little tiny flecks of light to the top. What you do is you create dimension. Okay, there's no perspective. I'm not interested in perspective for this sort of thing, but depth is hard. Depth is kind of hard to convey in an abstract. It really is. So by adding just these little dots, what you do is those become the foreground. Everything moves back. Instant depth. So I'm going to start. I just did a little bit of like a ghost stamp with the white on top of here. And then let me show you. The secret is a long-handled, skinny brush. See how raggedy mine is? Can you see? Okay, so I'm just loading in. This is house paint, y'all. This is literally just a very light neutral taupe. And I'm working in sort of a loose S. And I'm almost doing it blindfolded. I know you can't see this off camera, but I'm not going to look at the paper. I'm going to do that. I'm looking at the ceiling right now, and I'm tapping in kind of what I think is an S shape. Do you see it? S? You see it? Yeah. All right, now let's do a couple clusters. And again, I'm not even looking. So there's one here. I know you can't see me. I'm not even looking. Okay, now I'm off the page. I just cluster here, cluster here, cluster here. Boom. That's it. That's it. What I will let myself do, turn it upside down to assess. Now, when you first start painting, our instinct is to fill. Okay, so what most people do is they'd start polka dotting all over the place. Resist the urge, my friends. This is absolutely critical. Resist the urge. You want to do, try to find a cluster that needs a little bit of help. And what I would say is this one needs a little bit. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to add variation of size. I'm kind of twirling my brush as I go, so I get lots of different shapes. I'm going to do similar over here. And then there's this weird thing that we always tend to do is that if the dead center of the page has something in it, we'll add more to it, and all of a sudden things become this just big mass in the center. I like a blank center, so I want to swing this. And then literally without even trying, what we've done is create this sort of zhoosh of energy that starts at the top and it kind of waterfalls down. It's not exactly an S anymore, but it sort of tumbles. It feels very organic. And that's really what I'm trying to do here, okay? This is the dividing line between art and decorative object. Is when you're trying to capture the energy of something. This feels like you've got all the abundance and lushness of autumn. It's not just about matching a pillow. It's okay, so we've got level 1, level 2, level 3, and then, you know, I never know when to stop. Get your pastels. I like new pastels from Prismacolor, and I'm just going to add a couple little tiny points of definition. So you see what I did? I just added not quite a full line. I think if I did 100% all the way around, it would kind of deaden the shape. But just like this little brown one is not quite all there, I'm just going to kind of go around. And then add just a little flick of a stem. We'll come in here and and nothing in particular, but we're just emphasizing shit. I would not see, like that's very clearly, you get the whole leaf. It's the ghost shapes. Help them out. Just using the natural sort of jaggedness of, you know, because when the paint hit on the leaf, no two perfect shapes appeared. So we're just sort of emphasizing the imperfection. And then I'm kind of not happy with theory. I think it's a little too dead. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to trace around. Ooh, and see. Hold on, I'll show you how it comes out. Okay, so that's there, but honestly now it's a little heavy-handed. So I'm just I have a wet finger, and I'm just going to come in and wipe away some holes. Just what I give thou taketh away. And maybe on this one, I'm just going to ripple on the shimmers. You know what I mean when I say ripple? So if you have a shape, really this looks like a heart, that's unintentional. You just add a ripple, almost like a ripple in the water, and just keep on doing it, just ripples. Okay, and then to lock in the pastel, you need fixative. You know, if you've watched any of my stuff, SpectraFix is so good. It doesn't smell. You can use it on all kinds of stuff. Couple of spritzes to lock it in, and then do a second, third coat. Okay, that's it. So you get the wide shot, up close, behind glass. It has a magical impact on things. And then look at the double matte. Y'all, if you ever get the chance to buy ready-made double matte frames, do it. Do it so hard. Guys, people are starting to tag me because you're making them. They look so good. Please tag me if you do make them, because it makes my day. Sometimes I miss the tags, so don't be afraid to tag me twice, because I will. One thing I do keep seeing a lot is that people say, oh, I'm going to show this to my kids. This will be a great project for my kids. No, mon frere. Sure, it's a kid's project. It's an adult project. I think it's awesome that everyone's looking out for kids' creativity, but what about the adults? What about that? That's kind of a big deal. It's a real big deal. There's this phrase that gets thrown around a lot lately, this self-care, air quote, You know, I don't want to lecture anybody on any of that, but, you know, you gotta find your own source of catharsis. That's a big deal. That's important. And art is pretty awesome for that. So I hope you will at least consider doing it.